It's the first racing scene, and my dad had no idea what this movie was. Okay, he just saw it on, so he came and sat down in the room with us, and he goes, "Wow, what a rush!"
Oh
Me and
my.
my brother started cracking up because we thought it was just a dad joke.
Yeah.
No, he had no idea the movie was called Rush. Not a clue in the world.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Movie ReWined, the show where, over a glass of wine, me and Mike discuss an older movie that relates to a new one coming out. However, there are no new movies coming out, so we're going to be going over some movies from the past we've missed and have wanted to see for a really long time during this quarantine to keep the content flowing. This week, for some reason...
And our sanity.
We chose 2013's Rush, the Formula One racing movie directed by Ron Howard, starring Daniel Bruhl and Chris Hemsworth. It's on HBO, if you want to check it out. Just up top, I think we should recommend if people should watch this or not. I say yes. I had a really good time with it, and I've been meaning to see this for so long. I don't think it did anything at the Oscars, did it?
Got snubbed like everywhere. I looked this up before this pod. David Bruhl was nominated like at the SAGs, Globes, like almost all the precursors. The BAFTA, then was snubbed for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards. He's great in it. Probably should have got the nomination. But yeah, it might have gotten in. No, didn't get anything. But it won Best Editing at the BAFTAs.
I mean, this is a very, despite Ron Howard being the director, this is a very British European movie. It's in the UK, Austria, Italy, Germany, Spain. So I could see why the BAFTAs would show it a little more love than maybe the Oscars would. But yeah, I would recommend everyone to check it out if you have HBO. Oh, by the way, all of these episodes, we'll try to do movies that are streaming. So if people want to watch them, they can easily. You won't have to go out and buy anything. But yeah, Mike, what were your thoughts going into this movie? You would have wanted to see this one for a long time as well, right?
Yeah. Randomly, Keegan said, "Why not Rush?" And to I go, well, why not Rush? Yeah, me and King got that award for like most regretted missed movie of the year. And in 2013, I just never got around to seeing Rush. I did regret it. Kind of forgot the movie existed until this week, but had been on the list for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going in, I thought, okay, it'll be okay. Wasn't expecting it to like it as much as I did. So how about you?
Yeah, I knew I'd like it. Chris Hemsworth has a really weird non-Avengers filmography going. Like Bad Times, Rush. He's not Black Mass. Was he Black Mass? Is that what he's in? Some weird coding movie.
Men in Black 2.
Men in Black 2. Yeah, like he does some weird.
Or Men in Black International.
International, yeah. Men in Black 2. He does some interesting stuff on the side when he's not being Thor. And this had gotten so much praise. I figured it'd be great. Yeah, and it is really good. I didn't know that it was a true story until the last 30 minutes when, what's the famous Formula One, Mario Andretti? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Until he was introduced, like, barely. I thought that this was fiction the entire time. Did you know that this was based on a real story?
I did. I remember hearing that in 2013.
Okay. Yeah, I had never heard of either of these, Niki Lauda or James Hunt. I'm not a huge Formula One racing guy, though I would like to get into it. But, yeah, I didn't know that this was fact.
It's very British.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Keegan would like it.
Well, very
British.
European, yeah. Like, even though they have races in Japan and the U.S. and South Africa, it's all European drivers pretty much, and European companies. Like, yeah, it's a very European thing.
My roommate in college got into it, and I'd watch it with them sometimes. Pretty boring. Not gonna lie.
See, as I was going to bring this up later, I keep telling myself I want to get into it just because it takes place at these exotic locations and these really interesting characters and stuff, and these beautiful cars. But it's still just people going in circles and like they take more turns than NASCAR. But like, I don't know, man. Seeing a car go fast 500 times in a lap or 500 laps is not anything I'm really interested in seeing. And it seems like once you're in first place, you kind of don't really lose it very easily. So
no, you don't.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think it's a sport for me, despite my slight interest of wanting to watch it. But the movie, what would you say Ron Howard's style is? Like, is it biopics? Is it sports biopics? Because he did this in Cinderella Man? Or is he just kind of a man for hire, get the job done? Because this does not seem like British Formula One, get Ron Howard. That doesn't seem like the right choice.
I think he is if you got a biopic, if you got a true story, get Ron Howard. Maybe not get Ron Howard, but you could get Ron Howard.
Yeah.
He's a man with wide filmography. He's a guy who does like a bunch of movies a year. We apologize. The Wi-Fi connection is not great, so I might cut out multiple times. But he's a guy who does a bunch of movies. He does at least like a movie almost every year, at least one every other year. And he has misses and he has good ones, but Ron Howard's not a name that just gets me to the movie theater. I have to hear some good things about it. So I think he's good because I'm thinking of the two movies I like by him. I like, which is funny, I have one DVD in my room and it's A Beautiful Mind. I love A Beautiful Mind, and I love Apollo 13. Besides, everything else I've seen by him is just, this is probably third. I've never seen Splash. Love to see Splash. But
have you seen Cinderella Man?
I've not seen Cinderella Man.
It's very good. It is very good. Him and Russell Crowe back together again.
Yeah. I've seen the Da Vinci Code. Don't really like it. Think it's really boring. Then they went down. They doubled down it and made a second, and then made a trilogy.
Did he do all of them?
I don't get it. He did all.
I'm convinced he can make any movie in like 12 days, and that's why they get him. He has to be
a dilemma
because he came in and finished Solo in like breakneck speed and reshot like everything. So he must be just an absolute efficient workhorse out there.
Well, he's probably directed close to 30 movies in his life. So
yeah, and he's been in the industry for literally all of his life. So
I like him though as a celebrity.
Yeah, me too. And he's great in Arrested Development. One of the best parts. Back to the movie though, the progression of them from like kind of like cheap shot rivals to like actually legitimately hating each other. Spoilers, by the way, for all of this. To like having a bit of respect at the end. Like that last scene, I was so happy, dude. When they're at the airplane hangar and just like they're talking about their differences and they still kind of don't like each other, but they really have grown to respect one another. And the scene where Hemsworth punches the reporter, I was pumped, dude. I was so pumped. I thought their relationship was so well done throughout the entire movie.
The punching of the reporter in the face got some big cheers from me and the two Chucks in the room. I'm pumped about that. Yeah, I think there was a lot of poor character development in this movie, and poor relationship development everywhere else besides those two and the rivalry.
Yes.
Everything else in this movie kind of doesn't work. Both love stories were kind of but when their rivalry and the growth that it has culminating in that last scene is very good. It felt really real.
Yeah. Dude.
It was
super genuine.
Yeah, because like back and forth, you could tell that they kind of have respect for each other. Even from like just the first couple interactions, but it's kind of a hard thing to get. I think everyone has kind of like a person like that, not to this extent, but like a rivalry is hard to portray, and I just think this does it really good because like you have this weird connection, and then I don't know, this mutual hatred. It's interesting, but it's very very well done in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that a big positive and the reason it works well is because Ron Howard doesn't really ever tell you who to root for. There is no like main protagonist of like one versus the other. It's kind of them together the entire way. That being said, did you find yourself pulling for one at any point in time? Because I was kind of on Daniel Bruhl's side from the jump. I mean, yes, he could be a bit of an asshole, but he wasn't the cocky, arrogant Chris Hemsworth. He was more of the hardworking, nose to the grindstone worker, and I kind of respected him a little bit more than Chris Hemsworth's cocky character.
I think you bring a really good point. I went in this movie that I was gonna hate. What does Daniel Bruhl play? What's the guy's name?
Nicky Lauda.
I went in this movie thinking I was gonna hate Nicky, and I thought I was supposed to hate Nicky, and then like 40 minutes in, it almost did a reversal. So at the end, I kind of wanted Nicky to win the cup. I kind of flipped.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got some British blood in me, so I was always, in the back of my mind pulling for James Hunt, but at the end I was like, I kind of want Nicky.
Yeah.
He was the stand-up guy. He was the guy who had like a moral, actually very sound, very technical, and just I respected him a lot. James Hunt was just kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
but
he was the natural.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it was like the natural versus the. It's like the Ronaldo Messi kind of thing. Messi's kind of the natural born skill guy, and Ronaldo just works his ass off, and these two goats are just battling it out. You
Kobe
touched
LeBron.
on, huh?
Kobe and LeBron.
Kobe and LeBron. There you go. You touched on the relationships. The only other, correct me if I'm wrong here, the only other known actor in this movie is Olivia Wilde. I mean, Natalie Dormer right up top, but she's in it for like 3 minutes. But Olivia Wilde playing James Hunt's wife, and you give a 10 out of 10 a British accent. I mean, Olivia Wilde in this movie, my God, she revved my engines. No pun intended. But yeah, despite being the wife, she is not in it all that much, and she's kind of cast away pretty quickly. They're like shotgun wedding together. There's one argument, and then she's out of the picture. So it really is a story focusing on these two dudes, and everyone else is kind of, you can give or take.
It was so interesting because the scene where they get married, my dad goes, like they meet. They get married the next scene, my dad goes, wait, are they getting married? My brother goes, it appears. It was just so rushed, it just so out of nowhere.
No pun intended.
I was like, okay. James Hunt, a very impulsive person. I could see him getting married out of a whim. But then just from there, they have 2 more scenes together, and it just feels weird. Looking back, I don't even know if you even need her, that character. I'd almost just take her out.
Yeah.
And then they kept showing her, like, watching the races, like, later on in the movie, and they never go back to her, though. That was very, very weird. Did not like that at all.
I mean, the only purpose it serves is to, I guess, further show his impulse as a human just to do dumb shit, but we've already seen him do that 1,000 times, and it further shows him spiraling downward. Like, not only is he not getting sponsorships and not getting picked up to race in the next season, but he's also getting divorced. But you can just have him lose the sponsorships and not be racing again. Like, that's enough to show him spiraling. I don't think you need to show him lose a marriage over it.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to introduce another character, especially of Olivia Wilde status. It was just distracting.
Yeah.
And also, I guess Natalie Dormer.
Yeah.
I assume she wasn't a big star at this point, because that also seemed weird to have her. Okay.
Yeah, this was season 3. Season 3 of Game of Thrones, so she might not even be in Thrones yet. She was in like the Tudors at this point. And then, yeah, Daniel Bruhl's wife is great. I mean, an Italian that speaks English, German, and Italian. What more do you want?
And I did like their relationship.
Yeah.
The first scene where they meet is a pretty great scene, actually.
Yeah, them driving, yeah. And then I love when he's basically tells her that for some reason she picked him and he's never going to do better than that, so they might as well get married. And she's like, oh, a poet. I love that scene with them in Austria getting married. It was such a cute scene.
Oh yeah, that is a cute scene, and I think it's cute. He just like walks away from like the interview and he's like, "I got some family business to take care of." And you're like, "Oh, really? What?" And like, "Oh, he's getting married."
Yeah,
it was cute.
Yeah, is Daniel Bruhl wearing a prosthetic? Obviously, once he gets burned, he is. But in the beginning of the movie, is he wearing a prosthetic?
He looked weird, right?
Yeah.
His face didn't look right.
It looked like his upper lip didn't move at all. So I didn't know if like the prosthetic was his lip or if he was wearing fake teeth to look more like a rat, because they keep calling him the Rat. But it wasn't like super obvious he was wearing one. So I don't know if that's good or if Daniel Bruhl just had a weird face in this movie. Because he doesn't usually look or talk like that. My
guess would be fake, because I looked at Niki Lauda afterwards and he had like kind of like rat type teeth.
Okay.
So that's what I assume what it was. Niki Lauda also died about a year ago, I found out.
Oh, dude. Well, rest in peace, Niki Lauda. The end scene where Niki talks about his respect for James and then reveals that he died like not that long after and never won again and retired 2 years later. And like, yeah, dude, they kind of that perfectly showed their mindsets. James Hunt got his thing and he's like, I did it, I'm done, no more. But Lauda had this drive to be great year after year after year until he couldn't do it anymore. So that was really,
and he would go on to win 2 more championships.
Yeah, so that was really awesome. I always love those about biopics, is the like basically end credit scene where they give the updates of where everyone is. This one does it more. So usually it's just like text on screen, but this actually is a voiceover and with old footage and everything.
This actually packs quite the punch.
Yeah. The ending of this movie is excellent, dude. The problem with racing movies, though, is it's so hard to make the races interesting. Like, unless it's the scene where Niki crashes and, like, burns alive, it's just cars passing each other, and I never really knew who was in what car. And it was just like, because they were changing cars constantly and stuff, and I don't know, the action, quote-unquote action scenes of this, and in all racing movies, really, this goes to Ford versus Ferrari as well, is it's just not that interesting.
Also, and I'm sure they just want to be historically accurate, but they both drive very similar looking cars.
Yeah.
So I couldn't necessarily tell whose was what car when they just showed it on the track. It wasn't until I did the close-up, like, okay, that's Hunt.
And it's only like when they
Yeah, I agree.
like when they zoom in on the Ferrari or they zoom in on the McLaren logo, then it's like, okay, well, this is who this is. But yeah, other than that, they're in a helmet in like a red Formula One car, so there's not much to distinguish them.
Yeah, I love the editing though. I think the scene that really was Niki Lauda's crash. How they like everything kind of builds up for and the tension builds up, and they just keep like quick cuts. So from an editing standpoint, I think this movie is really good. I think most racing movies tend to be really well edited. I think it's the way that they can, like Keegan said, it's kind of hard to do the action, but to keep the intensity, they just kind of do rapid cuts to like random stuff. But I thought that worked here. I never really knew what was going on, but it made me have like adrenaline, like I was watching this race intently. But like then it was weird when Hunt got third at the end. Like, oh, did he get fifth? Did he get third? I'm like, did he pass any cars up? What was going on?
Yeah, so I assume all of these are based on like time and not completing a lap. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Because like, was someone in the pit, and does that not count? Or like, I don't know. I don't know how that he jumped 2 places. I don't know the sport at all. But that was also a very predictable thing for me. Like he was always going to get third in my head. Like, was that the same for you?
Really? I thought 100% he was going to die.
Wow.
Also, in 2013, I had a conversation with my friend Mac Magruder at a volleyball game. I still remember to this day. And he said, you need to see Rush. And I'm like, okay. And then he hinted at a character dying in it. So in the back of my head, I'm assuming one of these racers is going to die. Plus, they foreshadow death in like every scene. So I was actually floored that he came in third. Thought he was going to die.
Well, I knew that there was a crash.
Did you think he was? You never?
No.
Yeah.
The way that was going, maybe not the entire time I thought he'd get third, but like when it was like, when he actually pulls in and they're like, oh, is he in third or is he in fifth? I knew he was in third. Like for that like 2 minutes, it was like, okay, well, let's just get this over with. Before going into the movie, I knew that there was a crash. I didn't know which one of them was going to be the one that was like severely hurt and what impacts it would have later on. So it was still a surprise to me when it was Daniel Bruhl and he ended up coming back afterwards. What did you think of the cinematography of this? Like, it looked like it was a constantly like sunset, I think.
Yeah, a lot of shadows. I think it was shot well when they were in the cars, but outside of the cars, I really didn't even get why it was so shadowy.
Very shadowy and very like orange and yellow. Did not dig the look.
I think it wanted to make you sad. I don't really want to make you sad.
Yeah, for me, it was more distracting than artistic. I was just like, why is it constantly like 7:30 in the summer and everyone's like orange and the sun's just barely getting through the window. It was really.
Made me tired.
It was really weird. I don't know why they did that. You said up top or before we started that your dad had an incredible joke. Was it the wedding joke?
Oh, yeah. No, but that was funny.
Hilarious.
This one, it's the first racing scene, and my dad had no idea what this movie was. Okay, we just saw it on, so he came and sat down in the room with us, and he goes, "Wow, what a rush!"
Oh my!
Me and my brother started cracking up because we thought it was just a dad joke.
Yeah.
No, he had no idea the movie was called Rush. Not a clue in the world. He's like, no, driving, man. It just seems like a rush. And we're like, wow, that's the name of the movie.
What a legend. I love that guy. Anything else to add about this, Mike? I feel like we covered enough.
My 3 notes are death, editing, and red cars. And I think I touched on all 3.
Sick notes. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Mike, do you have any...
I did not like Chris Hemsworth accent.
What'd you say?
Chris Hemsworth accent was distracting. Didn't think it was very good.
Yeah, I could see that. Olivia Wilde was very good.
I did. I really liked Olivia Wilde.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you guys have seen Rush and listened to this. If not, who cares? This was fun for us anyways. Next episode, Mike, do you have any ideas of where we want to go with this? Because I have one. Mike is now putting on a mask. So I mentioned before when we were discussing even doing Rush that I have never seen Eyes Wide Shut, but it had been referenced 3 times in my life that week on like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Schitt's Creek and something else. And then last night it was referenced in a podcast I was listening to. So that is now 4 times in like 8 days that someone's brought up Eyes Wide Shut. So I proposed the idea of us doing Eyes Wide Shut.
I can do Eyes Wide Shut.
It
Is it
is.
on something?
It's on Netflix. It is quite long.
That movie's been on Netflix for like 5 years.
Yes, it has. So that is unofficial. That's just what I'm leaning towards right now. We will tweet out the official one later in the week. But thanks for listening, guys. Come back next week for the next random movie we're going to watch.
I saw Sonic.
Oh, did you?
And I liked it.
Oh, God. This is a conversation we need to have at a different time.
Okay.
Maybe we do a mini ReBrew of Sonic later in the week.
Have you seen Sonic?
I have seen Sonic.
Oh, cool. All right, we'll do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
I think he really loves her. 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 You little prince to hold her diamond hands. They're living on the beach in his castle of sand. He really loves her. I think he really loves her. Well, come on, get it, and they're making waves.